Hello everyone. It's such a pleasure to see you again on this familiar channel. Today, I will continue to bring you a new chapter in the emotional story of Lythieuca, a small yet resilient single mother, who carries the weight of her entire family on her shoulders, enduring hardships, worries, and an endless longing for her beloved husband. In the previous episodes, you may recall that Hoai's husband, was severely injured while on duty. After many ups and downs, he is now being carefully looked after by comrade Min, quietly recovering in a remote and secluded place. What's most striking is that Hung refuses to send word back home, because he fears that Hoaica will worry too much, that her already weary shoulders will be burdened even further. He chooses silence, bearing the pain alone, only hoping that his wounds will heal soon so he can one day return. Meanwhile, back in the countryside, Hoaica tirelessly works in the fields, struggles at the market, and takes care of her young child and aging mother. She has no idea that the husband she yearns for each day is fighting through both physical and emotional pain. Amid the peaceful rural scenery, Hoaica still believes Hung is simply busy with his mission, and that sooner or later, he will return. But the truth cannot be hidden forever. What will happen when Hoaica accidentally discovers the secret that Hung has been trying so hard to conceal? How will she react when she learns that her husband has been enduring unbearable pain in silence, all alone? Will her love, trust, and unwavering determination be strong enough to overcome such a shock? All of this will be revealed in today's video. I invite you to watch it in full, to feel every touching moment and every hidden emotion of the characters. And don't forget, after watching, please leave your thoughts in the comments so we can share together. Dusk slowly settled, draping the entire village in the soft golden veil of the fading sun. The last light of day stretched across the weathered rooftops, filtering through the rustling bamboo leaves and scattering shimmering streaks of light on the earth below. Along the winding dirt path that led back to the small hamlet, Hoaica walked leisurely, her worn sandals gathering a bit of dust. In her hand swung a basket of fresh greens still damp with morning dew, the leaves glistening like silver under the breeze. The rustle of the old bamboo grove, the cheerful chirping of sparrows calling each other home, and the distant clinking sound of a cowbell, all intertwined, creating a familiar countryside symphony, soothingly peaceful. For Hoaica, these simple sounds were like a lullaby, easing away the fatigue of a long day of selling produce at the market. As soon as she stepped into the yard, Hoaica called out brightly, her voice tinged with delight. "Mother, I got a basket of really fresh vegetables today. They'll surely sell fast tomorrow." From inside the house, Mother Ha emerged. Her figure was thin and frail, streaks of gray lacing her hair, her steps slow yet steady, but her eyes still carried warmth and gentleness. The deep wrinkles etched around her eyes and lips bore the marks of a lifetime of toil, yet when she looked at her daughter, a tender smile bloomed. Taking the basket from Hoaica's hands, she nodded approvingly. "Yes, these are fine. They'll be gone in no time at the market. Was the road long today, my dear? Are you tired?" Hoaica only shook her head softly, her gentle smile lingering on her lips. Then, mother and daughter busied themselves with the chores, Mother Ha stacking bundles of dry wood neatly by the kitchen, while Hoaica rushed to corral the restless chickens darting around the yard, tossing a handful of grain for the ducks quacking by the pond. A while later, with the small tasks done, Hoaica sat by the vegetable bed under the porch. Her calloused hands carefully plucked out weeds and mounded soil around the tender young shoots. To her, this small garden was more than food and livelihood, it was hope, it was strength to keep moving forward. In the evening breeze carrying the scent of straw, the laughter of children playing in the lane, and the sudden bark of a dog fading into silence, the village came alive in a warm, rustic canvas. In her heart, Hoaica clung to an unshakable faith. Her husband Hung was only away on duty somewhere far. She believed he was well, only delayed by unfinished tasks. Each time she thought of him, her eyes brightened, her lips curved in a quiet smile. She pictured the day he would return, his sturdy figure, his kind smile, his warm embrace wrapping tightly around his wife and child. That belief was the flame that warmed her lonely heart, giving her the strength to shoulder the care of her mother and child. Yet, all that peace and warmth was but a fragile veil, hiding a much harsher truth. Far away, Hung was not well as Hoai imagined. He lay on a bamboo bed in Min's humble house, his face pale, cold sweat beading on his skin. Sharp waves of pain from his wounds tormented him night after night, his breaths heavy and labored. At times, high fever dragged him into delirium, murmuring his wife and child's names unconsciously. But when he awoke, Hung only clenched his fists in silence, resolute that no one should send word back home. He knew that if Hoai found out, her worry would be endless, her already burdened shoulders crushed further. And so he chose silence, enduring it all alone. Within him, he held fast to a single hope, to recover quickly, to return home, and to keep the promise he made to his wife and child, the promise of a husband, of a father. Inside the small house tucked away on a hillside, the dim glow of an oil lamp flickered faintly against the earthen walls, now stained with age. The wind slipped through the creaking doorframe, carrying a chill that deepened the sense of desolation. On an old bamboo bed lay Hung, motionless, his face gaunt and pale. Each time the pain surged from the wound at the back of his head, his brows furrowed tightly, his teeth clenched hard to stifle any groan. Comrade Min sat nearby, quietly holding a steaming bowl of herbal medicine, speaking gently. "Why don't you let me send a message to your wife? Hoai will worry, yes, but at least she'll be prepared." But Hung shook his head, his voice hoarse. "No. If she knows, she'll break down. I'd rather endure this alone, as long as the wound heals. As long as I can still breathe, there will come a day I return to my wife and child." Those words lingered in the small house, both a vow and the fragile thread keeping Hung steady on the edge between life and death. Yet fate rarely bends to one's will. Bad news, after all, cannot be hidden forever. One evening, as twilight cloaked the humble home, the clattering sound of a bicycle echoed from the lane. A middle-aged man, a familiar face from the village, stopped by to visit. The moment he stepped inside and saw Hung lying on the bed, pale and shivering in waves of pain, his heart clenched with shock and pity. Turning to Min, he asked anxiously, "Why let him suffer like this? Does Hoai know anything yet?" Min remained silent, his eyes betraying unease. Hung turned his face away, avoiding the question. The visitor sighed, hesitated, then finally spoke with resolve. "This can't stay hidden. Every wife has the right to know the condition of her husband. I'll send word to Hoai." A few days later, back in the village, Hoai was sorting a basket of vegetables by the porch when she heard a familiar voice call out. Wiping her soil-stained hands, she rushed out to greet him, only for a few brief words to shatter her entire world. Hung was injured. He's recovering somewhere far away. Luckily, someone is taking care of him. The basket slipped from her hands, vegetables scattering across the yard. Her eyes widened, her face drained of color. Her heartbeat pounded wildly, as if her chest might burst. Trembling, clutching at her blouse, she stammered through dry lips. He's really hurt? Why didn't anyone tell me sooner?" The man sighed, placing a hand gently on her shoulder. "Hung didn't want you to worry. He asked us all to keep it secret. But his condition, it isn't simple." At those words, Hoai's knees nearly buckled beneath her. All this time, She had naively believed her husband was only away on duty and would soon return. She had clung to the sweet hope of reunion. But now, the truth struck like a storm, harsh and merciless, sweeping away everything. Tears welled up, streaming down her cheeks. Her mind tangled in turmoil, anguish for her husband, restless worry, and the gnawing unease of knowing he was being cared for by a stranger. Questions swirled relentlessly. How bad is his wound? Who is the one caring for him? Why did he hide this from me? Her heart felt as though it had shattered into 1,000 fragments. The once peaceful village evening turned bleak and heavy. The wind whistled through the bamboo, the chickens squawked anxiously in their coop, all sounds merging with the crushing grief engulfing Hoai's chest. Hoai froze. Her whole body stiffened, her trembling hands unable to hold on to the basket of vegetables she had just brought home from the market. With a dry thud, it crashed onto the courtyard floor, greens scattering everywhere, leaves torn and rolling in the dust and gravel. The world before her blurred, drowned in a haze of tears she could no longer hold back. Her eyes reddened, brimming with sorrow. Her breath grew short and frantic, her chest squeezed as though by an invisible hand. The pounding in her heart made her stagger, swaying on unsteady feet. Helplessness surged within, as if the sky itself had collapsed upon her. A strangled sob escaped, dragging with it words of bitter reproach she hadn't even known she carried until that moment of anguish. Why did he hide this from me? Why did he endure everything alone without telling his wife and child? Am I not important enough for him to share his pain with? Her voice cracked, echoing through the silent courtyard. That cry shattered the stillness like a knife tearing through fragile air. From the kitchen, Mother Ha startled, abandoning the pot of rice still simmering, and rushed out. Seeing her daughter pale, tears streaming down her exhausted face, she panicked, her voice trembling. "What's wrong, child? Why are you crying like this? Are you unwell?" Hoai didn't answer immediately. She turned away, hastily wiping at her tears, but her hands shook too much to hide the streams flooding her face. She bit her lip hard, fighting to contain her emotions, but the more she tried, the more her heart twisted in pain. Her mind swirled in chaos, anguish at her husband's suffering, anger that he had chosen silence, and the deep sting of being shut out from the very pain of the man she had shared her life with. She sank heavily onto the porch step, her hands clasped so tightly together they trembled, nails digging into flesh. Her voice broke amid sobs. "He thought hiding it would spare me worry, but doesn't he know? The more he hides, the deeper it hurts. Husband and wife are meant to endure everything together, no matter how hard. How could he leave me in the dark like this?" Each word spilled out like a blade cutting into her own heart. In a single moment, worry twisted into hurt and anger, not the anger of resentment, but the raw grief of a wife who loved with all her soul, only to be kept outside her husband's suffering. Her heart cracked, torn between the urge to run to him and the desperate need to weep away the hurt. Mother Ha quietly sat beside her, resting her frail hand on her daughter's shoulder. Her voice was low, sorrowful, yet warm. "My child, perhaps he only wanted to protect you. Men often believe that hiding their pain is a form of love. But I know, this pain you feel is heavy. You must steady yourself." At those words, Hoai could no longer restrain herself. She collapsed into her mother's shoulder, hot tears streaming endlessly, soaking through the faded brown cloth. Her sobs broke in waves, like a child abandoned. Within her, love and anger twisted together, longing to be by her husband's side to share his burden, yet wounded that he had chosen to carry it all alone. Outside, the sun had completely vanished. The last glimmer of light faded beyond the bamboo grove, surrendering to the dark. The shrill chorus of crickets filled the garden, the wind rustled through the thatched roof. The scene was quiet, yet within Hoai, a storm raged fierce and unrelenting. Tonight would surely be a sleepless night, with tears still fresh and pain refusing to subside. Night fell, cloaking the entire village in a profound stillness. The waning moon hid behind thick clouds, casting faint silver light that flickered across the courtyard, broken by the swaying shadows of old bamboo in the wind. The chorus of crickets in the garden played like a sorrowful rhythm beneath the night's song, mingled with the distant barking of dogs. Together, they merged into a melancholy harmony, pressing down on an already heavy air. Now and then, gusts of wind whistled through the creaking door, like invisible blades carving deeper into the heart of the sleepless woman lying in the dark. In the small thatched house, everyone else had drifted into slumber. Only Hoai lay restless on the rickety bamboo bed, eyes wide open, staring into the blackened roof. Each time she closed her eyes, the image of Hung returned, his pale, lonely face twisted in pain. The vision was so vivid her heart clenched, stabbing with each beat. She turned, gazing at Mother Ha. The old woman slept soundly, her breathing steady, her wrinkled face softened in peaceful rest. Beside her, the tiny oil lamp burned halfway down, its weak yellow flame casting a wavering shadow across the floor. The sight only deepened the ache in Hoai's chest. Her guilt swelled, and biting her lip, she whispered, voice trembling yet firm. "Mother, I can't stay still any longer. I have to go. Even if he tried to hide it from me, even if he wanted to endure it alone. I can't just wait here. He is my husband, the father of my child. How can I abandon him at a time like this?" Her words startled Mother Ha awake. Through blurry eyes and flickering lamplight, she looked at her daughter with worry. She knew her well. Once Hoai had made up her mind, nothing could stop her. For a moment she stayed silent, then sighed, her voice heavy with love and fear. "If your heart is set, then go. But promise me, you'll take care of yourself. Go to him not only to tend his wounds, but to show him this truth: some pains, some burdens, should never be borne alone." At those words, Hoai's tears spilled over, streaming down her cheeks. She buried her face in her mother's shoulder, sobbing like a child. Yet in her eyes, through the tears, glimmered a spark of resolve. That fleeting weakness only hardened her determination. She rose without delay, hands trembling but firm. Quietly, she gathered her belongings, a few simple clothes, the small savings she had carefully kept, and the bundle of herbs Mother Ha packed with care, to use when needed. Each movement was heavy, yet filled with love and the quiet strength of a woman ready to face whatever lay ahead. Outside, the night wind blew unceasing, the bamboo leaves rustling as if urging her onward. The sky parted, and a gentle moonbeam fell across the yard, illuminating the small but resolute figure of Hoai as she hastily prepared her journey. Her heart pounded wildly, yet within it beat only a single certainty: she must go, she must reach him, so he would no longer suffer alone. And so, in that silent night, Hoai's decision to leave home and seek out Hung etched itself firmly into her heart. It was not merely a journey, but the beginning of a new path, one strewn with hardships, yet also imbued with love, faithfulness, and the unyielding strength of a wife devoted wholly to her husband and child. After countless days of waiting in vain, drowned in tears and longing, Hoai can no longer remain still. The heart of a wife, brimming with worry and burning desire, compels her to leave the peaceful village behind and set out in search of her husband, who suffers alone in silence. But what will happen when Hoai and Hung finally meet again? On one side lies a love ablaze, an unending yearning that has never dimmed. On the other, resentment and anguish, the bitterness of being shut out from her husband's truth. Will Hoai's heart erupt in anger, or melt before the anguished yet devoted eyes of the man she loves? Hung, after days of torment and searing pain, clings to one final wish, to see his wife again, to feel the warmth of her hand, to hear the voice of his child, enough strength to keep him alive. But faced with Hoai's unshakable resolve, will he open his heart and allow her to share his suffering, or will he continue to bear the silence that wounds them both? Will Hoai's fury drive a wedge between them, leaving scars too deep to heal? Or will this very trial, this harshest of storms, forge their love anew, deeper, stronger, more unbreakable than ever before? So many questions remain unanswered. So many emotions lie in wait for the moment they meet again after the storm. All of this, all of it, will be revealed in the next episode. We invite you to join us, to witness the tears and the smiles, the twists of fate and the triumph of love, where faith, sacrifice, and devotion continue to shape this moving story.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì mình tiếp tục đưa đến với mọi người câu chuyện của mẹ đơn thân Lythieuca và cảnh sát Hùng. Mọi người thân mến, thì như mọi người cũng đã biết thì mẹ đơn thân Lythieuca hiện tại thì vẫn chưa biết tình hình của cảnh sát Hùng, và cô vẫn luôn ở trong trạng thái là nghĩ Hùng vẫn đang công tác. Vậy khi mà cô biết thì mọi chuyện sẽ ra sao và Hùng thì sẽ xử lý như thế nào, trong khi anh thì luôn muốn giữ kín mọi chuyện, không muốn cho Hoài Ca biết một tí nào hết. Vậy thì mọi chuyện tiếp theo sẽ như thế nào? Mời mọi người đón xem tập tiếp theo để biết thêm chi tiết nhé mọi người. Nếu như mà mọi người yêu quý kênh mình cũng như là yêu quý các nhân vật như Hoài Ca các thứ thì mọi người hãy đăng ký kênh, sau đó bật chuông thông báo lên để không bỏ lỡ bất kỳ video nào mọi người nhé. Và nhớ rằng là nếu như mà có ý kiến đóng góp gì để kênh mình có thể ngày càng hoàn thiện và trở nên hay hơn thì hãy để lại ở phần bình luận cho mình, và nhớ đón xem những tập tiếp theo để có thể biết thêm diễn biến câu chuyện nhé. Tạm biệt.